Greetings, class 111. I am going to go through how to use different calculators. So I have a TI-83. The 83 and the 84 are very similar. This is my old favorite chunky friend. The TI-36X Pro, that's the one I put in the syllabus as it'll do everything you want, and it's about $20. The TI-30XS Multiview, this one will actually do everything you want as well. Again, it's about $18 to $20. So, and I have bought a lot of mine on Amazon, but you can get them, should be able to get them at Meijer, Walmart, any of those stores without a problem. This is my favorite. If you're gonna go on to higher math, I encourage you to just go ahead and invest in this. However, it is not required, and these are about $100. So just, you have to make a choice. All right, so let me get out of this. So we have this same data about the Great Sand Dunes National Monument, and I went ahead and put it in my calculator, but let's see how we do that. So I'm gonna walk through on the TI-83 first. Again, the 83, 84 should be similar. I'm gonna put, there's a button that says Stat. I'm gonna push that Stat button, and it says I'm going to edit, calculate, or test. Well, I wanna edit a list first, so I'm gonna hit enter. And you can see I've actually already entered the data. But let me show you how you enter data. I'm just gonna go to this empty column. I put my X values in the first column, my Y values in the second. So I simply push a number and hit enter. And then if I needed another number, I push enter, okay? Now, if I wanna clear out, this only applies to the 83. If I wanna clear out the whole list, I go all the way to the top and I hit delete, and it clears the whole list for me. Now, the other two calculators, you have to do one value at a time. Okay, so I have it entered. So think about editing a list. Then I'm gonna push this stat button again, and I need to go over to calculate. Now, since I have, you'll see there's a whole bunch of options. I put in two variables, so guess what? I want the two variable options. So I'm gonna cursor down to the two. I could also just push the two, hit enter. It'll ask you questions. Now, some of yours, it'll look more like you actually have to answer the question. But if you as long as you put the X values in the first column and the Y values in the second column, then you can simply just hit enter three times, depending on how much. With mine, I only have to hit twice because mine's a little simpler, it's older. And look at these values. So let me change my screen up here. Let's get down to where they actually did the math for us. So we see that the sum of the x's is 678. Look at that, sum of the x's is 678. The sum of the x squareds is 67,892, okay? So it'll do all that work for you. So if you don't like Excel, it'll do it. You can even see at the bottom, it says that 7 is n. N is 7. Sorry, I'm reading backwards. You will also notice we have our standard deviation of the X values. We have the sample and population. If I keep going down, I'll see my Y values. And then I'll see my, like my minimum X and my minimum Y and my maximum X, my maximum Y. You'll also see the sum of the x's times y's. So that's the sum of the x's times y's there. Now let's see what else. Just because I want to be able to use this video for more than just today. If I wanted to, I'm gonna clear that out. If I wanted to do the actual regression line, which is what we're gonna do in section 4.2, I'm gonna push stat, and I'm gonna go over to edit, and you'll see there's a couple different choices for linear regression. I'm just gonna grab the first one. It doesn't matter which one I use, you just have to read it properly. So again, I'm gonna push enter a couple times, and it gives me some information. So this is the line that's would be the best fit line that would connect all this data. So let's see, I have y equals ax plus b. Here is the value I would put in for the y value, and here's the value I'd put in for the b, all right? I just said Y, I meant A, for the A value and the B value. So that's the TI-83. So let's look at the TI-36, all right? So this TI-36, again, let me quit. I hit second quit to get out of that screen. I'm gonna push my data. So I'm gonna push my data screen, and there's all my data. So this calculator is a little bit simpler, less menus to plow through to get there, also a whole lot cheaper. So that's my data screen. Then it says, in blue letters, it says stat-reg distributions. So what I need to do is push the blue button and then that data button, and it gets me that same menu of what I'm gonna do. So again, I want 2 variable statistics. I hit enter, 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 enter. Okay, so 3 times I pushed enter. And now I have my variables, my statistics. Now, what it says at the top is that I took, the first one is from list 1 and the second one is from list 2, and we incremented by 1. That's what that code is. So I see my mean, I see standard deviation, I see, let's see, my mean of my x's, my other standard deviations. There's my sum of my x's, the sum of my x squareds, sum of my y's, sum of y squareds, sum of the x times the y, and this one gives me, oh, this one actually does the y equals mx plus b, does the linear regression all at once. And look, there's that same r value. So it did r for you directly. There's a way to do that on the TI-83. There's a setting you have to turn on sometimes. Okay, so TI-30, this one is a lot like the last one. Let's get out of that. All right, so data. So here I'm gonna push my data button. There's the fields that I entered, the data that I already entered ahead of time. And then I'm gonna push, in this case, it just says stat. So it's very similar to the TI-36. The TI-36 says stat-reg/distribution. So I'm gonna do second data, which is the stat. Again, I have to hit enter until I get through all my questions, and then I start to see my data appear. So for some, the calculator is the right option. For others, you like Excel. I happen to love Excel because I can see it better. Sometimes in the calculator, I feel like I'm chunking through. But if you have questions, please let me know. Make use of technology. Don't struggle, don't get frustrated. Make use of technology.